Hey, what's up, everybody? I want to welcome you to another episode of the Dreamers Pro Daily Recap, where we give you a recap of all of the hot topics that we covered that day. You can catch them in their long format and also catch it fully streaming for free on Apple Podcasts. Yesterday was some kind of day. If I go in reverse, we reacted to Kevin Durant's crazy ass taking shots at Michael Jordan. That was the last show that we did. But yesterday they had a segment, excuse me, on the Odd Couple with Rob Parker and his partner, I believe, Kelvin, I think it's Kelvin Washington. Now, Kelvin is a LeBron guy, right, through and through. He tries to act like he's a reasonable LeBron guy, but then at times it kind of comes through. Like, he defends stuff that really annoys a lot of people. And one of those people it seems to annoy pretty often, it seems now, is Rob Parker. Now, Rob Parker, over the last, let me say, 6 to 12 months, has just been on this thing where he's just letting it fly, man. He just letting it fly. He be up there ranting. He be up there going off. Like, and I'll be like, damn, Rob one day look like he gonna try to throw up them dukes with somebody in the studio. So yesterday they were talking about the infamous decision by LeBron James, which really kicked off player empowerment and the collapse of competition in the NBA. It was a very, very controversial move, and that move made him into the most hated player in the NBA the following season. It was no question. He worried. Like, he was the guy that everybody hated. And when the Miami Heat lost in the finals and LeBron didn't play well in 2011, people were celebrating. Like, it was because they hated him and the way that they did it. Not just the decision, but what ensued afterwards. The fake parade that they held, and not one, not two. Now, it was just so cringy and ridiculous, right? So they were reacting to that. And then all of a sudden, man, Rob just loses it. So what we want to do now is we're going to play what Rob Parker had to say to his partner there, Kelvin, about the LeBron James decision. I want you guys to listen to Rob because he gets fired the hell up. Take a listen to this exchange here.
Because you know what Dan Gilbert did? He did nothing for LeBron when LeBron was there. He left. I swear we'll win a championship before LeBron ever wins one. Well, that wasn't it. LeBron won the next year and 2 years later. And so to me, it's comical. And then Dan Gilbert only won because LeBron came back and won.
Why did he go back?
And he
why did LeBron go back? If Dan Gilbert was such a bad guy and didn't know what he was doing, why didn't LeBron go back?
Glad you asked.
Yeah,
because
why?
LeBron went off and won and became the biggest thing in the NBA.
So why did he go back? Why would he go help Dan Gilbert?
I'm about to tell you. Because there's a whole...
Don't make sense to me.
It absolutely does. Because LeBron wanted to win. And for who? This one's for Cleveland. This is for you. He wanted to win one in Cleveland. And guess what he did? He won in Cleveland. And so to me, the player empowerment only moves if you're that great. People have been moving for the last 10, 15 years and didn't do nothing with it. LeBron goes to Miami and wins a couple, loses a couple as well. Then he goes back to Cleveland.
Loses a couple as well.
Yeah, he did. And he goes back to Cleveland and wins again. And so my point is...
He's won 4 championships in 24 years.
So my point is, how long is a person supposed to stay in the organization that drafted them if they've done nothing? The Cavaliers did nothing before him. They didn't do right and get guys with him. This is a real thing. They didn't do anything for him. Boobie Gibson was a starting point guard. They had Drew Gooden.
How many games
did
they win during those years? You want to go over the win total during the LeBron Cleveland years? Were they the number 1 seed? Did they win 60 games every year?
Because
but they didn't have
him.
anybody. Okay.
Wait. You're telling me they had something?
But in the playoffs, they didn't have anything? How did they win?
I just said they had LeBron.
How'd they win games?
By LeBron.
But they couldn't win with
by
LeBron in the playoffs?
You were there when he scored 25
But he couldn't win in the playoffs?
Because I'm saying the team wasn't good.
He beat the Pistons by himself.
I'm glad you asked.
Okay, so what happened?
So
he
hold
went
on,
to San Antonio.
Let me talk. Michael Jordan didn't do anything either until Pippen became Pippen, until he got Phil Jackson. He just put up a bunch of points, and that's a fact. He was getting swept in first round. He wasn't getting out the second round, and that's okay because no one does it alone, Rob. Magic Johnson walked into Jamal Wilkes, Norm Nixon, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar,
They weren't winning
and other
anything
players.
before that.
But he had guys.
Go look at the Lakers before that. How many championships did they win before he got there?
I'm glad you said
Magic.
that. My point
he
is,
revitalized that franchise.
That's my point, but I have to do it with Kareem. Who was their best player when they were there? It was Kareem the first half years. Magic will tell you that. And then it's Kareem, and then Magic Magic. So I'm not knocking. You need people, is my point.
I'm talking about his legacy. It ain't nobody thinks of him as the all-time greatest scorer like Kareem was forever. That's not what you think about when you think about LeBron. You think about he ushered in the legacy of trying to stack his team to win. And that's what he wanted to do.
And that's fine, but you're missing the impetus.
It didn't work.
You're missing the genesis
It didn't work for him.
I don't get how.
How?
Hold on.
He went 10 times. It didn't work. It didn't work.
You're missing the genesis.
He lost
the reason why this happened was because the Cavs were doing nothing, and he realized you all are only going to judge me on winning championships. Period. I'm the same player talent-wise. I'm good. I'm winning MVPs. I've got to drag the team to the finals in 2007. You're only going to judge me on winning championships. The team is doing nothing for 7 years, 6, 7, 8 years.
Come on, man.
He leaves on.
You know what? To sit here and say they did nothing. They got him everybody he wanted. Even Shaq wore Cavaliers. No. How did Shaq get there? How did he get there?
He was 40.
How did he get there?
He was 40.
How did he get there?
He was 40.
Why was he on that team then?
Because he was Shaq, but he was 40.
But I'm asking you how.
Right.
LeBron didn't want him and they brought Shaq in.
If your argument,
I'm asking you.
That might be the worst argument you've ever said.
No, it ain't. Answer the question.
A 40-year-old Shaq who
How did he get there? LeBron didn't want him, but he got there.
Why are you bringing up a 40-year-old Shaq?
Because I'm asking you, how did Shaq get to Cleveland?
Because I'll tell you.
No, I'm asking you.
Let me answer the question.
Answer it.
Easily. They always $1 late and a day late and $1 short.
Cleveland or LeBron?
Cleveland.
Who's making the decisions?
Cleveland.
Come on,
They're
man.
always so
no
LeBron
way.
wants a.
So you heard what Rob had to say there. Look, man, Rob looks like he's getting fed up. Now, I don't know if this is just for the show or they really be meaning it, because I'm not, maybe it's because I've never done it, but I would find it difficult doing a show with somebody that says a lot of things that annoy me and then be cool with them after the show. I don't know how I'll be able to do that. I just don't know how I will be able to do that. Somehow these guys can do it, and maybe that's the reason why, they work in corporate sports media. Like, they can do it, right? But Robbie really seeming like he gets annoyed with that guy. It seems like that guy really gets under his skin with some of the things that he said. I'll give you an example. Michael Jordan is the greatest player ever, but LeBron is the best. That was something that pissed Rob off. He's like, what are you talking about? The greatest in the best. What are you talking about, right? It's things like that. He also defended the decision for LeBron to get the Lakers to draft his son and all that. So he's a LeBron guy. But Kelvin wants to make it seem like, well, no, I'm being balanced and all of that. And he's trying to paint the decision like as if it was something positive when it's a net negative. Like, the decision wasn't good for the NBA, folks. It simply wasn't good. It was not good. It was the decision that took place that they're now putting provisions in place to pretty much limit players from creating super teams. It was the decision. Like, they put a second apron. Like, they're trying to discourage all of that. The owners are trying to take the power back. And you have a situation where ever since the decision took place, things just went downhill from there. And Adam Silver has been at the forefront of all of this. And you look at what took place at the All-Star weekends, players stopped caring. I mean, it's been a total disaster, right? It's been a total disaster for the league. Total disaster. But things seem to be kind of balancing out now in terms of parity and stuff like that. But to see how Rob went off on this guy, man, it was entertaining. I'll tell you that. It was absolutely entertaining, man. And, you got to give it up to Rob, man. Rob wasn't holding back. So what I wanted. Looks like Nick Wright is back at it again, right? And this time, Nick Wright is pretty upset. Now, Nick always looks upset, but trust me, folks, this time he is really upset. So I came across a clip from his channel, What's Right with Nick Wright, and it says, Nick goes scorched earth over LeBron James' disrespect in trade market. Has everyone lost their mind? So, as you guys know, LeBron has been the #1 talk of the town in free agency because, well, of what his agent Rich Paul said, that LeBron wants to compete for a title, but then he picked up the player option. A lot of people are like, what the hell is going on? LeBron can't go anywhere. Now, a lot of people were trying to shut down the conversation altogether because they thought it was stupid. Why? Because it's like, okay, you picked up the $52 million. Where are the Lakers supposed to be making move? Like, first of all, where are they going to bring in these new pieces? And number two, who's trading for a $52 million contract that's a contender? Nobody. So the reason a lot of people were dismissing the conversation entirely was because no championship contender has that cap space. Number one, nobody's going to pay you $52 million at 41 years old. So there's nothing to talk about here. That's the main reason why a lot of people feel like this conversation, this topic is a non-starter. Well, it seems like one of the people that is pissed off that people are dismissing LeBron James altogether is Nick Wright. Nick Wright is pissed off, folks, and he let his thoughts be known on his channel, where he just went on an absolute tirade to the point where he was even swearing. So what we want to do now is we're going to play exactly what Nick Wright had to say. I want you guys to listen to it, and then we're going to come back and react to his comments. Take a listen to Nick Wright here.
I have just been mystified at the combination of misinformation, disingenuous commentary, and almost huffing and puffing from the media. Like, oh, I guess we're forced to talk about LeBron again. What the else has happened in free agency? The Kevin Durant trade that all of us knew was coming, that we talked about, that was awesome, that was exciting. Other than that, it's been the deadest free agency imaginable. One team had cap space, it was the Nets. They decided to use it just to take other teams' bad contracts. Shams was telling us a month ago this could be the craziest offseason ever. Nothing's happened. Other than the Durant move, the most notable move is Norman Powell getting traded to Miami. Norman Powell, who, by the way, oddly enough, the only time Norman Powell's been discussed on regularly on podcasts and TV shows, aside from ones focused on the Clippers, was a different LeBron James thing when people were like, oh, won't anyone think of Norman Powell and his all-star spot if LeBron knew he wasn't going to play? And so, but I'm listening to and reading folks basically be like, all right, I guess we'll feed the content and engagement monster and have the boring, tired discussion of, could LeBron James be traded? You mean the greatest player of all time? Or, you know what, to not argue with folks, the at worst second greatest player of all time who's never been traded, who is open now potentially to being traded? That's a boring discussion. We'd rather talk about the Pacers losing Miles Turner because they don't want to pay the tax because Halliburton got hurt. That's what we'd rather talk about. Cam Whitmore for 2 second-round picks. Like, what are we doing? This is, and it's not lost on me today, this very moment, is the 15-year anniversary. I didn't know that until I saw an article written about it this morning. Today's the 15-year anniversary of the decision, which means we've had 15 years of enhanced, more round-the-clock, more 12-month-a-year, 365-day NBA transaction interest, from player empowerment to the owners trying to wrestle it back, super teams, homegrown, all of it. It came because LeBron and Maverick put together a TV show and changed the whole paradigm. And 15 years later, he's still one of, if not the most interesting person in the league. And folks who cover the league for a living seem almost resentful that this is a story. So I don't understand that.
So you heard what Nick Wright said. Nick Wright can't believe it. Nick Wright can't believe the fact that, not that LeBron is an afterthought, because he's certainly not, but like, it's like, okay, man, yeah, we whatever. He's not used to that, right? He's used to LeBron being the number one focus and all of that. And I'm sure a lot of people are in his camp, and people that think like him are, shocked at their system to see that the Lakers are no longer even prioritizing him, that they're prioritizing Luka Doncic. I don't know why that would be a surprise, because he's the younger star, the better player. So why wouldn't they prioritize him? Some people have even been whispering in the background that they're surprised that the Lakers didn't offer LeBron James a contract extension, right? Which would indicate that they're done with him. Now, there's also the aspect of the fans, Laker fans. Laker fans are really done with LeBron. Laker fans really want LeBron James to leave the Lakers. It is a fact. I don't know of any Laker fan out there that is fighting for LeBron to be a Laker. It makes no sense. Why would you fight for LeBron James to be a Laker, but you want to win championships? We just did a show yesterday where Skip Bayless pointed out that for 27 minutes of the fourth quarters in the first round versus the Minnesota Timberwolves, LeBron James was scoreless. They said he had the worst plus minus out of anybody for the Lakers. So a lot of Laker fans saw that show, but most importantly, a lot of them are aware of what they saw. And they want to get younger. They want a younger star to pair up with Luka Doncic. So Laker fans don't want LeBron. As a matter of fact, a lot of them feel like he's ruining their team. This is a fact. Right? So the only people that want LeBron in LA are, I would assume, are just probably like, I don't even know who wants LeBron. I think the only body that wants LeBron in LA is LeBron James. Because I know his supporters are fed up that Laker fans don't seem to be appreciating him. And this has kind of been a thing ever since LeBron got. I remember when LeBron James became a Laker. And he was in the press conference, in the locker room talking to the press, and somebody's like, they were basically saying, like, what have you done? He's like, I'm LeBron James. And they were like, yeah, and we've had Kobe, Shaq, Kareem, Magic, and what are you going to be doing in terms of championships? That was a shock for LeBron. That was the first time he went anywhere where it's like, well, I'm here. That's enough. They were like, no, that's not enough. No, that's not enough. We're about winning championships. We're not about, I'm here. Right? So Laker Nation made that very, very clear to him. And his fan base is now like, this is an ungrateful fan. How are they ungrateful when they had 16 championships before he walked through the door, bro? 16. Now they were like, well, what was he winning before? Yeah, that's a small window. Teams go through championship droughts. The Warriors went through a championship drought, but they won 4 championships. Does that take away from what they are and what the Of course not. Teams go through their ebbs and their flows, but they're still the Warriors. The Celtics went through their ebbs and their flows. They're still the Celtics. So they don't appreciate us. Bro, they had already won 5 championships in the past 15 years. What are you talking about? So they were looking like, LeBron, yeah, you're here, and what's going on, bro? What do you got for us? LeBron was promising them, oh, the thunderstorm is coming. Everybody went outside with their umbrellas, not even light drizzles, right? So Laker fans were seeing through that. And that's something that bothered LeBron fans because they felt like, oh, you should be appreciative. And Laker fans like, no, we don't care, bro. We don't care. It's just the fan base. They have too much history. They have too many championships. They're the number 1 team in basketball, one of the most popular teams in the world. So, and they did all of that without LeBron James. All of it without him. No, LeBron didn't add to the Laker lore. He wasn't the reason that they were who they were and who they are today. He's not. So they know that, right? So LeBron fans don't like that, right? So LeBron fans want him gone, where he'll be more appreciated and he can go stack another team and win a championship. Laker fans want him gone because they're sick of him on the team. So LeBron wants to stay. And then you have Nick Wright, who's like, well, why don't we talk about this? Because they're like, there's no sense in it. That's what most people are saying. They're like, the only sense that we can have, if you listen to the comments of Dave McMenamin, is through a buyout. Well, if you buy him out, then yeah, sure. Then he can go sign for cheap. That's the only realistic solution moving forward. So that's where we are, Nick Wright. That's why people are reacting the way that they're reacting. And finally, people after a while move on. They find somebody else. Jordan came, he left, and there's going to be somebody else. That's life. Let's get into this show. Yesterday, we were prompted to do a live, an emergency live that I called it, after I came across a clip from The Odd Couple, which had the following headline: Durant says the quiet part out loud about Michael Jordan. Kelvin Washington praises Kevin Durant for saying the quiet part out loud when it comes to Michael Jordan. So I clicked on the video. And it started off with them reacting to some comments that Kevin Durant made, where Kevin Durant was on Mind the Game podcast with LeBron and Steve Nash, who's just like a prop at this point. And they're talking about longevity or whatever. And then out of nowhere, Kevin Durant starts talking about, you know, you got to recommit to this sport every often. You got to, whatever he said, you got to recommit. And then, you know, some people quit and decide to go play baseball and come back, while other people say, I'm going to ride this thing out for 22 years. So we did a live about that, and we'll probably react to his dumbass comments a little bit later in this segment here. So Rob Parker then decides to jump into the fray. And you could tell that Rob was getting annoyed with his co-host because his co-host was making a lot of idiotic points, if I'm being kind. He was making a lot of idiotic points. And then Rob Parker lost it. And he went on a rant for the record books, folks. Like, for the record books. And I was like, this is crazy. So for those of you who didn't hear what Rob had to say, I want to play for you now. And then we're going to come back and continue on the show. Take a listen to what Rob Parker had to say there.
But Michael Jordan needed a break, a reprieve, after 8-9 years to go play baseball for a couple years. Then he came back, played a few more years. Then he retired again came back a couple years. So all I'm saying is it's okay to criticize Michael Jordan. He can still be the GOAT, but it is okay to say that he had some fallacies. Some things that he was not the best at, or he had some things, or he made some mistakes, or I didn't like that he did that. And that's all I'm saying. I think it's okay to point those out, and yet still can say he's the greatest. Similarly, the way we'll do with LeBron.
No, you make an excuse. You're like the biggest, I'm dead serious, the biggest LeBron apologist I've ever heard.
That's the furthest thing from the truth.
No, I'm going to tell you.
No.
Listen to me. Listen to me. I think you are, and that's why people think you're like on the payroll. You're on the payroll
sit here every
because
day, Rob G.
you are the biggest
How much
LeBron
do I criticize?
apologist.
Rob G.
No matter what.
How much do I criticize LeBron?
Nobody was good in Cleveland. LeBron didn't have anybody. When Michael Jordan went to Chicago, what did the Bulls win? Scottie Pippen was this great player, but he never won Finals MVP, even though he was so great, and he's the reason Michael Jordan won. This is the nonsense. I'm just hear me out. This is what people try to make up some scenario. Oh, the only thing you talk about is Michael Jordan being 6-0. No, he was. He was a scoring leader 10 straight times. He won so many awards defensively. He did everything. Nobody's saying he's perfect, but this whole notion that the reason LeBron didn't win is because there's Twitter, or the reason that he didn't win is because Skip Bayless and Rob Parker and Chris Broussard had a morning show on ESPN. Turn the show off. Really? Come on, man. That is weak. That's the reason that LeBron didn't win is because there was debate sports talk show, or because some guy in his mother's basement is tweeting about LeBron and he can't handle it. Oh, my God. This is what you're talking about.
That's not at all what we're talking about.
I can't handle it.
We actually said the point was that he played through that. That was the point. You completely missed the whole point.
Everybody's like, oh, LeBron. He's the one who put on his back in a tattoo, the chosen one. He's the one who called himself the king. That wasn't anybody else. When you do that, you put a target on your back when you talk about you're the king and you're the chosen one. And then you want to bellyache about it. You go from team to team trying to stack your freaking team, and you still don't win. You still lose more than any other NBA MVP in the history of the sport. You come to LA, you complain that I don't have anybody. AD, that's not good enough. We need more players. You get Luka, one of the best players in the league. You still get knocked out in the first round. You're going to blame everybody. He never takes responsibility that it's him or that he made the move. You talk about Cleveland doing anything. Oh, Cleveland didn't do anything. The front office. He's the one who went and got Westbrook.
You know the best part about this is?
Did he get Westbrook, or did the Lakers get Westbrook?
You know what the best part about this is?
Ridiculous.
You say I'm the homer for LeBron,
yes,
which is the furthest thing from the truth. You're so obsessed with him, you didn't even have anything to say about Michael Jordan. The whole point of this was what KD said about Jordan.
No. The whole point is that no matter what, and this is why you can't be honest and just say
I can't be honest.
Michael Jordan is the greatest.
Yeah, I just said it. That's
no,
how
you didn't. Because you started out where you have to put out that LeBron is the best to you.
No, Michael
that makes
Jordan
no sense to me.
It does. I can
it
explain
doesn't.
it. First of all, Michael Jordan is the greatest. And you sit
LeBron
here,
is the best.
and
Is that right?
that's another conversation.
No,
I
it's
can
not.
explain that.
No, it's not.
So you heard Rob's comment. First of all, Rob is 100% correct. I don't know what Kelvin is talking about. Kelvin is trying to say, well, look, Jordan failed for so-and-so reason, which is similar to the reason LeBron failed, so therefore they're similar. No, that's not the case, man. And you're being extremely disingenuous. And that's why Rob Parker called you out. What was Jordan was losing? No. First of all, let's put things in their proper context. Michael Jordan was performing at the highest level we had ever seen any NBA player perform at, while he was losing against Hall of Famers and top 75 guys in the first round. That's number one. Number two, the fundamental difference between Michael Jordan and LeBron James was that Jordan was losing because he didn't even have one all-star teammate. Not even one in his corner. Not, what's that guy they had? Mo Williams was an all-star at one point. Zunas Ilgauskas, he was an all-star at one point. Jordan had none of that. And the fundamental difference was the minute Jordan got a decent player where Scottie started to develop, they won 3 chips in a row. Obviously, you had Horace Grant, you had others there, but you get the point. In the case of LeBron, we have witnessed him collapse in finals with top of the shelf talent. That never happened to Jordan. It wasn't like as if Jordan was losing because he had help and he couldn't win. No, he didn't have any help. In the case of LeBron, he has had help and still found incredible ways to lose. You know that. But you're trying to couch it and make it seem like as if, oh, no, it's something else. They're both equal. You know, they both went through the same. They both went through the same thing. When in reality is not. Kelvin's argument for LeBron being the best player ever is insane to me. I don't even know where he starts. What's the starting point? Where are you basing off? Okay, at what? What are you basing this off of? You like LeBron. We get it. He's your favorite player. You don't have a good argument for why he's the GOAT, but you feel like he's the GOAT. We get it. But to now try to say, oh, Jordan and Mike and LeBron, no, they're not similar players. LeBron James wasn't doing anything like Michael Jordan was doing when he wasn't winning, getting out of the first round. He wasn't. Jordan wasn't getting out of the first round because he wasn't good enough or he was failing or collapsing. It's because he didn't even have a single all-star to his name. In the case of LeBron, he was getting out of the first round, by the way, playing in a garbage East. We already did a show about that yesterday, which I'm sure you know of, but you're going to withhold that information because it doesn't help your narrative. But the moment he got help, he won. You can't say that about LeBron. There is no series Jordan ever had like that he had in 2011. There is none. There is none. And Kelvin, maybe you don't know, for a lot of people, the GOAT debate ended in 2011. It's been done since then. Since that point. Cumulative points, nobody cares, bro. Do you know why? Because you guys never cared. When LeBron was behind Jordan and Kobe in scoring, and you guys were up there twerking it up all day long and pouring honey all over each other's ankles and hollering and screaming, y'all was never mentioning the most points ever. Y'all was never talking about how great Karl Malone was or Kareem Abdul-Jabbar was. None of that. It's the minute he got it, now you guys want to give it some level of importance. Man, knock it off, man. Y'all are terrible at making points. And that's why Rob went off. In the case of Kevin Durant, he's a super bozo. Kevin Durant is talking about quitting. Kevin Durant is the one to talk about quitting? Really? You're the one to talk about quitting?